Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Bridget Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko. What's up? Welcome back. Yet another fun episode today. And yes, of course, we're talking about AI. No, but it goes deeper here because it's impacting the underlying structure of businesses and how they operate. AI is just moving so fast. It's really hard not to talk about it. We're also going to talk about new AI phishing to watch out for, updates from the IRS for us. And since we're in tax season, it makes a lot of sense to talk about these. So we'll touch on all those. But as always, my wonderful co-host, Bridget, how are we doing this week?
I am excited this week. So I officially launched my next coaching cohort like earlier last month, and we have our first like kickoff tomorrow. So I am geared up and really ready to serve this group. I'm so excited to get back into the coaching world. Yeah.
Cool. Can I ask how many are in the cohort this time around?
So we limited it to 10 for this cohort. Yep. And so we are diving deep into accounting coaching for those in the industry. So
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yep.
As I end my course and my cohort, I guess for my first, I just think about how much bigger can I handle doing live coaching, is the one thing I hit and think about in my brain. I think about all these other coaches that are out there and they got like hundreds part of this program. And I'm just like, maybe that makes it easier because you get just more questions and you can like condense them into like similar topics, etc. Or I don't know. There's something, I don't know where to go with that right now. I'm going to have to ponder that a little bit, but yeah, no, congrats.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
Well, and I think it depends on what you're offering, right? So like for mine specifically, we are taking a whole new approach that the industry doesn't really have. So the VIP track allows you to get hands-on experience in client files. And if you go through that, there is a potential that you get a paid internship with us at the end. So like it could
that's
turn
so cool
into real mentorship and experience. And so we can't support huge groups. But the value on what they're getting, like if I would have had something similar when I first started so.
I think that's really cool. And I know we've talked a little bit behind the scenes about what you had going on. And when you said you were thinking that this might be a way to find awesome candidates to add to the team, I was like, yes, that is so awesome. I mean, you get to train them, you're going to see their mindset, how they communicate the whole way through. I think it's awesome. And for those that don't, that aren't coming onto the team, they have this real world experience that really helps them take their career to the next level anyway. I mean, there's that value there from the beginning. That's the whole point. I've heard of some other programs like that. I know an IT company I used to work for started working with the K through 12 system here in Kalamazoo, and they put together a training course that was for like high school seniors, etc., that would help them get an IT certificate.
Yeah.
Like a legit one, not just one that they created. It's one that's out there, but they were going to be running this with I forget what education organization locally was going to help with that. I think it was the Promise. I think it was the Kalamazoo Promise was part of this actually. And so they have cohorts come through, and the idea is they also created this partnership with like 10, 20 other businesses locally that are always looking for IT staff. And so the idea is you take this course and you get placed right into a job, which is really cool. So I just hear similar things here, and I think it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Very cool. Well, let's jump into our first article today. This, believe it or not, is coming from Tucson.com. But look, it's written by Upwork. Okay. 8 small business trends. We're going to focus on one of them here today. It's about how AI is moving from content generator into operating system. So basically, this article says AI's moved beyond the initial testing phase to an essential everyday resource for most businesses, from automating repetitive tasks to helping business owners make smarter key decisions. The key signals of AI's impact on small businesses include AI's increased adoption. Research from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce found that as of 2025, nearly 60% of small businesses use AI tools in their operations, which is more than double from 2023. So in 2 years, we've doubled that rate. Chatbots handle customer questions, while predictive analytics forecast demand. Automated workflows, routine tasks like invoicing, scheduling, data entry are increasingly automated, freeing up teams to focus on growth and strategy rather than admin work. According to a 2025 study of small business leaders distributed by Goldman Sachs, 80% of respondents using AI reported increased efficiency and productivity. And then finally, AI-powered marketing and content creation. Verizon Business Research shows that as of 2025, more than 28% of small businesses already used AI for marketing and social media, and another 24% used AI for written communication. Tools like ChatGPT, Jasper help generate branded messaging and content marketing assets at scale while reducing creative costs. Wow, mouthful. Okay. My takeaway here, I think what's really cool is that, before really this year in late 2025, what I was hearing is AI, yeah, it's being used a lot for like helping to write emails, helping to proof stuff, generate some content, some photos here and there. And what we're seeing now is that AI is actually being inserted into the process to take over repetitive tasks. And I think that's that new piece. And that's fast to go from like thinking about when AI really came on the scene, like near the end of, pandemic 2023, 2022, like it was like starting to get usable in a way day to day, to now just 3 years later or 2.5 years later, it's now running parts of businesses and taking people, not necessarily out, like losing jobs, because actually I don't think a lot of that is happening. It's just people are actually able to focus on other things that drive more value. But I think that's the big piece I'm taking away from this. What are you hearing, or what are you seeing in this?
Yeah, I think it's giving depth to jobs, right? So like you're not bogged down in the admin work, which, let's be honest, like that is normally the piece most people despise about their role, is like the general admin work, or the pesky little tasks where you're like, oh my gosh, why do I have to click this and put this here or do something, right? So like I'll say for us personally, and for others that are in some of the groups that I'm in, there are pieces that we're like, okay, we're not coders. Like that is not our expertise. But like,
right,
you have Claude Cowork and you have Claude Coding now, where you literally can tell it, like, here is a major issue I have in a process. How do we fix it? And it can, if it is something like you need a script behind the scenes to do something, it writes the code to the fact that it actually works. Do I have any idea what it means? Nope. But do I know that it puts file A from this place into the next place that I need it, and I don't ever have to think about it? Yup. And am I happy? 1,000,000%. So like, and I'm not even using like AI to its extent, right? But I'm not a coder. That is something, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, even maybe even 3, if I thought that I could solve some of these pesky repetitive things where I'm like, why does a human have to touch this? I would have said no, because I can't write code and script and all the things. And now it does it. Like I tell it my problem and it tells me exactly how to fix it, and then the code to make it happen. It's mind blowing, to be honest. Yeah.
I think some of like my thinking here is, so you turned to AI to start creating, not necessarily because that was the thought from the beginning, but you have this tool, it's here now, like to your point of what you said, it's here, I'm going to use it. What kind of thoughts did you have around, I'm going to use AI to create all of this stuff, rather than finding a platform that does it? Like, I guess some of my thinking, and I bring this up for a reason, because there is this thought that AI is actually going to tank all of the major software platforms, like Salesforce or like Asana, et cetera. Like people are going to be able to code stuff like you are doing, to code these things. Mm-hmm. And therefore we're not going to need any of these platforms anymore. And so like, I'm just like, my head goes, and I do the same thing. I did the exact same thing. I have coded my own things exactly the same way using AI, of like, I need something that just does this thing to help make my life easier. Or, like you said, I'll work with AI and figure it out. It's like, yeah, why don't we just do this? Cool. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But that is usually, those things that we are creating are features of larger platforms. I'm just thinking about like my CRM has a ton of AI stuff within it that can probably make my life easier, but I'm not looking at that. And I went right in AI and created this. So I'm just thinking like, what's because there's other businesses that have similar thoughts, I guess, through this is should I be looking at a larger platform, or should I just be vibe coding in some way? And so I just think about that through here a little bit.
So right now we are not replacing any of our softwares with what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's enhancing what we already have. So like, and I know myself and some others, like I've mentioned in some of the groups, like it's as simple as instead of me having to log into email and log into Asana and log into these places, I go to Claude first thing in the morning and it's like, give me my summary of my day and prioritize it. And so like, I'm not getting rid of softwares at this point. I'm just making them more efficient for me. And I guess to answer your question as to why, and I think those of us that are utilizing AI is because if I had to go watch a tutorial from one of these softwares on how to do it, when I could just ask AI and it gives me the step by, like, it's time. Like, I don't have the time to learn all of these softwares. Now, the ones that are putting AI in their software where I can go say, this is what I need to do, and it's telling me how to do it in their software, I'll use that all day long, right? Like, I don't need to go external, but they're still getting AI features inside of their software. Like, I know it sounds lazy, like, well, just go search their like how to.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do that.
No,
like,
I mean, the old adage, time is money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who's got the time to go out and become the perfect expert in this platform? And so it's a convenience factor. I think it's probably also that whether or not we know a feature exists, maybe it doesn't exist. You know, to your point, like there's a feature that doesn't exist that I need. Here, I'm going to create that little piece. And to your point, it's not going to replace all this software. It's this little piece that helps make this process or this step way more efficient so that we could use the platform to the best of its ability. But we need this piece solved and it doesn't exist yet. You know, and that's awesome. I think that's really, really cool.
So I've run into a lot of businesses though that aren't leaning into all of this, which is totally fair, totally fine. Like I'm not saying anything negative about it. But we've talked about it before on here, like the AI, there's a gap here. Like some people really want to lean into it. Some are testing the waters. Some are doing a little more. Like I said, I'm not even utilizing it as much as I could because, again, I don't have the time to even learn how to use AI the best, right? I'm doing, like, I'm brain dumping pretty much to my Claude of like, here's what I need fixed. So I think these articles and the more research we're seeing is pointing more and more for businesses that like this is here to stay and like look at all of the extra things it's doing. I said even 6 months ago it wasn't doing this. So where are we going to be 6 months from now? You know, and so I'm still on the side in my business where I don't want to see softwares get tanked. And I'll say this because if AI can't continue to support what I need and I like get rid of all the rest of our infrastructure, we're like in a bad place.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So like I'm not gonna like replace things, but am I gonna allow it to enhance things? Yes.
100%. Yeah, I don't buy into that whole conspiracy that these platforms are disappearing. I mean, thinking about like our project management software, if it disappeared, oh my God, we would be dead in the water. Like we'd have no idea what tasks have to get done, no idea who'd be, you know, like communication, where are things at? We got assets in there and other things. Like if it disappeared, we would be royally screwed. Okay. And I think this is, and then to say like, we're going to migrate to a new platform that we build ourselves with AI. I mean, that's insane too. I mean, that migration process is cumbersome, difficult, time consuming. Like, even if we were going to make a change from our project management software to another one, I am so hesitant in doing that just because like it's a pain in the butt to do it. It's a total pain to move from one platform to another. And while we could, you know, like it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's working, we're profitable with it. What's going on here? At some point, there's an analysis to be made of should we still be here or move somewhere else. I just don't think that time is now.
Sure.
I don't think we're there yet in that respect at all. And so, in thinking about larger organizations, I mean, not small business, think about enterprise. They're in Salesforce. They have custom build outs of Salesforce, all this training. Then they're going to move over to Oracle or to something. I mean, like, that's an expensive and insane move, or they're going to build their own thing and it's going to be better than sales. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. They have to support that software. They have to do any updates. They have to secure it. They have to house it. They have to do all the processing. Like, are you kidding me? That is so more expensive than just being in Salesforce or wherever you're at for your thing. And I know we're a small business podcast, but I just needed to compare it to the larger orgs because it's just like, if they're not about to make those switches, why would small businesses make those switches? No, either. So, yeah.
But I think it is valuable. So we have a few other episodes, and I don't have them right off the top of my head right now, but like, we've talked about researching softwares, right? Or like, how do you get into things?
Yeah.
I think we're in a world now that if you are looking at a software that doesn't have AI integrations or have an AI feature, they're behind the 8 ball. And so I would be questioning, is it worth like using that software? Because I guarantee you Salesforce and all of these others have AI pieces in them now, right? And I can't think of a software that I use that doesn't have some sort of AI feature inside of it. And I think they're just going to continue to evolve and adapt because that's how they're going to continue to compete in the AI universe. And so I don't think they go away, but they are going to have to keep up because that is going to be something, right? If you can't search inside, and this article talks about it. So small business, let's bring it back to small business for a second. Chatbots. If you don't have a way for your customers to potentially get answers that you would be giving them quickly, like if you aren't working towards a chatbot, you're probably behind right now. And I'm saying this to myself too, because like, we have a world of knowledge inside of our own company and our systems and our processes and our documents and our how-tos. That not being in a chatbot is actually probably hurting us, because if I could have a customer be able to go search or ask our chatbot and it could find the answer for them from something we've already written or done, or it could be a blog post we've written, it could be a video that we have out there. Like, and I know like the world is getting to a point where customers want answers faster. They want to be able to have your answers faster because that's why they work with you. That is a customer service experience, right? So it's all the things coming together, and chatbots are becoming the thing. I really see that happening.
Yeah, no, I love that you brought it back to small business because I agree. I think the winners, this year and moving forward are going to be those that, bring on, these new emerging technologies, especially because of the impact that they have. And to your point about speed, speed, I think, is the outcome. But I think what people want is just less friction. They just want things to be easier. And that's what it helps with. I don't want to have to wait on a support call line with bad music for 5 minutes to talk to somebody, or wait for 9 to 5 for an office to open just to get an answer. That is probably something that, like you said, is in a document somewhere that an AI can just find and source for me, So I think that's really important. And sometimes, I know there's going to be some out there that are like, well, I don't know that I have to. It's like, okay, maybe not, but look at what the major large organizations are doing. I think that's a key thing here. And I just saw an article on payments.com. We'll put it in the show notes, but the Meta Chief Technology Officer, Andrew Bosworth, is actually going to lead a company within Meta, so Facebook, to champion artificial intelligence tools throughout the workforce. They have a whole initiative that they're creating called AI for Work Initiative. So, I mean, if large organizations are putting this in play, to get AI within the workforce at all levels, I mean, we as small businesses have to, because how many of us have already been cannibalized by larger organizations or by platforms, and I'm thinking like small shops, Amazon cannibalized, a lot of stuff. And so if we are not getting on board and using them in some capacity to make ourselves better and more effective at what we do so that we can help more people more easily, etc., I think it's just a slow death otherwise.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it does open you up for the personal touch that your customers are craving, right? So if you aren't in all these minute things or these simple, like, and I say simple, but they add up, like tasks that can be managed in a different way, or like even the chatbot thing, right? You are freed up from that time, so then you can actually have better personal touch points and a better experience and support your customers in a better way because you aren't bogged down by all of these other things that can be handled from technology that is now at our fingertips, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to end it. I mean, we're talking about AI a lot, but seeing how it is now, getting into our processes and our systems and running elements, I love it. I love it when it can do that for me. Opens up my time. I get to do more valuable thinking and more valuable other work that AI can't do for me, which is so much more valuable for my clients. So
yeah. And I think to the listeners that are like, I don't know where to start, right? Like I hear that so often from people that I talk to that aren't leaning into it and using it.
Yeah.
And like I've said, and maybe you have a different recommendation, Dan, but I'm like, pick the one that, like, just start with one. It doesn't matter. They have free versions. Like I would personally, if you're on Google, I would say check out Claude just because it works well. And Google Gemini is literally integrated into Google. Just talk to it. Like I have been so shocked where I'm just like, I'm so annoyed today at this process. Do you have any recommendations or things you can ask me so we can try to solve this? It can be as simple as a dumb like statement like that I throw in there. And like all of a sudden all the ideas are unlocked because it comes forward with a few suggestions. And of course, I'm a human that can like kind of decipher, oh, that won't work for us, or oh, that makes sense. And we've gotten very valuable things out of just brain dumping. And so for anybody that has not started to use it, I know that it can feel like you're way behind the 8 ball and it's evolving faster than what you can ever imagine. Just talk to it. Like just throw whatever frustrations or ideas you have or a process that you feel like is broken in your business, and you'll be surprised at what it comes up with for you to be able to solve that.
Google, to that point, Google actually, I mean, Gemini, great place. I kind of agree. Like pick one, just start, as simple as let it help you write stuff. If you're always like stuck, like, how do I write this email? A great way, just start someplace simple in that way. I mean, you'll start to then feel, more confident in what it can do and how it works. But beyond that, Google just released Google Studio, Workspace Studio. I don't know if you've seen or heard this yet. This is built right into Google. And you can automate work with Gemini. So it connects all the different parts of Google. And you can do, to your point, like you were talking about Claude giving you that daily summary every day or notifying about urgent emails, et cetera. There's a whole ton of different flows. I think you can connect other platforms, et cetera. But to that point, they're building Gemini out to be able to do this agentic type stuff or certain workflows, et cetera. And so I haven't jumped into it yet, but I'm really interested in, this is like my next piece to jump into because, gotta have it. You just gotta have it. My life is not. The one thing I've been really wanting, like that you talked about, was like I've been really wanting the daily summary piece because I haven't had daily summary, and I'm just like, I've been in Gmail every day, going in and using the thing, summarize my emails from yesterday, and it's just like, why isn't it just automated? And then all of a sudden, Google sent me this email of like, have you heard of Workspace Studio? And I'm just like, yes, finally. So I got to set it up. But like little things like that, like they just go a long way to adding in. But anyway, okay, cool.
Good note, because I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So
this is literally just a couple weeks. Like I think this was maybe last week I saw this popped up, and so I thought I'd share it. I haven't dived into it, but maybe in the next week I will, and I'll share more on the podcast. But otherwise, let's move into our final kind of topic for today. IRS has just released their Dirty Dozen for 2026. It's a list highlighting a surge in AI-enabled voice mimicry and sophisticated smishing scams. What a funny word. Basically, SMS phishing scams. Basically, scammers are now using computer-generated tactics to spoof caller IDs, impersonate IRS agents. So I think some of the tips here were always verify complex tax questions through trusted professionals rather than relying on AI-generated advice. Have you come across any of these scams yet?
Oh, the IRS scams are everywhere right now. And I want to just say something to put things into perspective here real quick, okay? The IRS is not going to be reaching out in any sort of 21st century capacity, okay?
Right.
Like, they snail mail letters from things they found 2 years ago, and they don't allow you to have any sort of email or upload capabilities with the IRS. You still have to fax or snail mail papers back.
Yeah.
You have to sit on hold to talk to an agent for hours during tax season. So, like, anything that appears to be like an email or a text, or like, and I know you can get text to like verify your tax return stuff like there. So there are some things, but like if it seems to be something very important from the IRS, it's probably not coming in that format. And I hate to say it that way, but like, oh my gosh, like it's their methods are incredibly outdated, and and I do think AI is making it so much easier for all of the scams, and it's tax season, so it is going to ramp up at this time.
Well, I think the thing that
go ahead.
I think the thing that makes it easier is that AI makes it easier to generate new content faster. They can create new scripts, new voices, new everything so much faster to get, like, if anything gets squashed, put a new one up and running, and they can figure out what works best faster than ever before, which makes it scarier. They can social engineer faster, which is insane.
Well, an AI can read every IRS like letter or something that you would get, and it will know exactly what that's saying, right? I will say there's also an uptick around this time of the year for fake charities. So, you know, trying to get in those last minute charitable contributions or like that piece. I know nonprofits get hit heavily with this around this time of year, where they'll get like a check in the mail that says like, you know, we're picking nonprofits to, you know, give a charitable contribution to, like, you were chosen off our list, please cash this check. And then they'll get a notification not long after they cash it to say, oh, we accidentally added a 0 or 2. Can you please send the funds back to us? And then they end up totally canceling the check. We've actually had 2 of our nonprofit clients get these checks in the mail. Thankfully, they checked with us first, and like we were able to tell them that it was bad. But that is on this Dirty Dozen list about fake charities.
Yeah.
So it is very common. Yes.
I'll say I haven't come across any of these myself. And if I have, maybe I've just known it's not real. Like, maybe in the past I've gotten a text message of, we're the IRS, you're blah, 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 didn't whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you don't communicate this way. No, thank you. You know, but what I do see a lot, and I'm going to share a screenshot, is I see a ton from social media, like this email right here from Meta. It's a notification. It looks like a notification about a DMCA violation, and like an account is, I mean, this looks freaking legit. I mean, it's got the Meta logo at the top. It uses their blue. It's the same language. I mean, even this graphic in the middle here with the shield and whatever else, it's reminiscent of what they would use. It is so good that I've had, I think, 5 clients receive this, and all of them reach out to me. Like, is this real? What did we do? Yep. What did we do that violated the DMCA? And I mean, luckily I know what I'm looking for. One, the email it came from was like from some random whatever URL, because they just forward the email to me. But second, like, I'll hover over the button and it links somewhere totally not Meta, you know, and it's like, yeah, no, this is total ban. This is total scam. Just delete it. Get out of there. But I see tons of stuff like this.
Well,
all
and
over
it's
the
written
place.
to be so scary, right? Like that's how
Right.
they appeal. Like that's how they get people to quickly like click and do all the malicious things. But Dan, I want to say, I think you come from a place where you were like you worked IT world for a while,
True.
and like
Yeah.
like I don't think the knowledge around all of the scams are as noticeable necessarily to those that haven't been part of like
Oh,
that
100%.
world or even an
Yeah.
organization. So like I come from prior organizations where like we always had to pass all these like little tests on our computer to be like, is this fake or is this real? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that have never had to go through that. So I think just
Yeah.
keeping yourself educated on the
100%.
latest scams is
Yeah.
really
I
important.
mean, but this is so sophisticated. I mean, they're using the
Oh,
real Meta
yes.
logo. They're using the actual colors. They're mimicking, or if not, just straight up stolen graphics from another Meta place and throwing it. I mean, this looks exactly like the current Meta emails that you receive. This is insanely sophisticated. Like, had I not hovered over the understand like how to know where a button is linking to and going and looking at the from and like other email stuff, like you're right, the fact that I know that stuff is what helps me not fall for it, because this is insanely sophisticated, and I get why so many people are falling for it. My favorite part of this is how there's an actual decision number at the top, like as if it's a unique number. I just laugh about little stuff like that, but it is so sophisticated. So
Yeah.
so true on that.
That
Yeah,
is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. There, and I guess that's a negative of AI that we could put out there, right? It
Yeah.
does have the power to basically make it exactly like the real thing.
Yeah. So for those listening, wondering what we're looking at, head over to our YouTube channel. Yes, we got a YouTube channel. You can subscribe and you can see what we're talking about. Okay, it's probably somewhere in the 31-minute mark. Okay, that's where we're at right now. Just go check it out. You'll see what we're looking at. It's crazy sophisticated. But let's wrap up. Let's move over to our What the Biz moment. I went to a local bar, a local brewery, One Well Brewery. I think you know it. Okay.
Mhm.
One of my favorite places. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's good beer. I think the atmosphere is awesome. I was going to meet up with friends. Okay. And we showed up at noon. And the one thing I can tell you about this brewery is it is always slammed. Always. If they're open, the parking lot is full. Doesn't matter what time of day. Like they're doing something right. Good for them. Okay. It's March Madness. And we went on a Saturday at lunchtime. You know there's a game on. Okay. The brewery was dead. Dead at lunchtime. Okay. And so I thought about it and I was just like, okay, is this a fail or a win? I think it's just half of both. Okay. And I think it's more win than a fail. We were there long enough where come say 2:00, it started to fill up, and it started to fill up with like families with kids. They had just come from some sporting event, etc. But we didn't see anybody in like that adult that would be coming out for a sports thing. Okay. They're not there because they don't have it. And I think that's kind of the win here, to be honest, more than the fail. I know some people listening like, what, a bar doesn't have sports on? Like, what is going on? They probably have nobody coming there. Let me tell you, this place is slammed all the time. So the win, I really fall more in the win category of like they are living their values and just have this place in the culture that they want to build. And they've never had sports TVs in this place from the get-go. They just want it to be this place where you're unplugged from the TV and other stuff, and you're there to engage as a human with each other. Luckily, they don't have like phone lockers. Thank you. But which is good because you have to order. You pretty much can order from your phone on the table. Like that's like the easiest way to do it. But anyway, so I just kind of call it a win where like even in the middle of these huge cultural moments where everybody goes to a bar, they are holding firm and holding off from caving in and putting up a sports TV or two or whatever so that they can attract that audience, and I just thought it was very refreshing and interesting to see a place that is just going to be that forever and that's it. And I thought it was just interesting being there, and it was empty when it's always full, and it's just they're living their best life, I guess is the way to put it.
Well, I would say if they deviated from that, right? So obviously March Madness, like it's a limited time thing going on. if they deviated from that, they would likely turn off their loyal patrons that like that atmosphere and normally fill that place, to where I think it would have the opposite effect and hurt them. Like if they tried to appeal to having the sports on, right? I think long term that would hurt them overall.
I think you're entirely right. I think,
and
100%.
I think even like putting temporary TVs in just because apparently March Madness is so big, I think it would still hurt them. Like I think you stayed true, like you said, and clearly patrons came in. And if somebody wants to be there bad enough while watching the game, our little cute little devices, right? Like you can have the game on your device, you can stream at the table. I see people do it. So like,
exactly. 100%. Yeah.
I think it's a total win that they are holding true to what they are, who they are. And it's probably why they're busy all the time. They have enough people that value that.
100%. Love it. I think it's a great place to end it right there. Let's be true to ourselves and just like stick by our guns as to who we are. Okay, but that's a wrap on another episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We know your time is valuable. Thanks for spending it. Found some value in today's episode, okay? Maybe a new strategy, a new tip. Do us a huge favor. Leave us a review and just share what it was that you learned. Maybe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's the best way to help other business owners find the show. Okay. And if you've got a hurdle or facing a topic you want us to explore or share our expertise on, head over to whatthebiz.com, drop us a line. All right. We love hearing your ideas and we might just make an entire episode out of yours. All right. But until next time, keep building, stay proactive, and we'll see you on the next one.